Hey everybody, welcome back to Get Fit With Me or Stay Fat, whichever. Day 168. Boop, boop. Today was pretty good, but I realized I had to get out of the house. I had eaten like 1,000 calories worth of food and not all of it great. You know what I'm saying? Started off with a donut, went on to 3 cups of coffee, had some zucchini bread, which sounds healthy, right? Because you're like, zucchini. No, you have regular vegetables that are healthy and low calorie. They tend to be nutrient dense, and everyone argues about how bioavailable the nutrients are. I don't know. It's the koala bear of vegetable recipes. It's a marsupial. It's a marsupial. It's not actually related to any of the other zucchini dishes. It's from the bread family. So around about 2 o'clock, when I realized I was fighting the urge to graze, I went out, I ran a bunch of errands, and then when I came back in, it was actually time for dinner. So good for me. Had some ramen soup that Rob made. Really good. But again, mostly carbs. A little bit of turkey, mostly carbs. Had a bit of a sweet tooth, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm at like 1,450 calories. I'm gonna have an Oreo. I'll have a white fudge chocolate covered Oreo. It's 100 calories. It'll put me at 1,550, and like that is still, that's still fine. And then I was resisting the urge. It's so cold right now, you guys. It's so cold, and it's like a damp, bitter cold. That's not an excuse, but anyway, I begged Rob to make hot chocolate for me, and he's so good, and he did. So I'm still under 2,000, which is great. I'm at about 1,850 right now. Caffeine today was 24 ounces. I was in bed last night by about 12. Felt really good about that. So tonight is going to be some basic exercises, and then I'm just going to walk on the treadmill. I have some continuing education to do because my license is due for renewal this month. It would be fine, but I'm going to be honest. I'm going through some of the online CE courses because I already finished the physical ones. The physical ones all cost money, and the online ones are free. At the same time, if I could just sit in a room for 4 hours and finish ethics, at least it would be over, and having to engage with an actual human being would be more interesting. It's just, I try, you guys, but I put it on today thinking I will putter around the house and I'll clean and I'll listen to my continuing education lecture. And it was so funny because in the beginning he said, try not to do other things while you're doing this. I know you might want to. You might want to return some emails, but really take a deep breath and let's all try to focus. Hilarious. 20 minutes later, Rob came home. He was the distraction that I needed to make this kind of tolerable thing all of a sudden become completely intolerable. And he looked at my face and said, what is wrong? It's so boring. Because it is. Ethics is very, very important, but I have done this every 2 years for the last 10 years. I don't know how I can listen to the same things over and over and over again. Also, sometimes they say the dumbest things. No offense. I listened to an ethics continuing ed once, and this woman said, and we're going to talk about how to create a zero tolerance workplace. And that included if you end up in a dicey situation, when do we call the police? And the answer for that entire class was apparently never. I don't think she called the police once in any of her many examples. Maybe once, I don't know. And then at the end, she was like, you can get an emergency button that'll help you and it'll call the police. When? Anyway, I know that I'm digressing and I'm probably not making much sense. So let me tell you her story. She gave this crazy example where she was like, once upon a time when she was still working, because all of these instructors aren't practicing massage therapists anymore. So they're all talking about back in the day. She's saying, well, back in the day when I was working, I used to work in the same office area as a chiropractor. And one day after the chiropractor and all of his staff had left, a man came in. I was the only one in the building. And a man came in and he asked for the chiropractor. He said he wanted to make an appointment. And I said, oh, I'm very sorry, sir. He's gone for the day. But if you want to call and leave a message, I'm sure they'll get back to you. So the man leaves the building and she locks the door after him. And she's cleaning up and she's doing different things. And after about 45 minutes, she realizes that he's still there. He's outside in the parking lot. He's not actually in the parking lot. He's directly outside the door. and she's getting kind of skeeved out. And so she's puttering around and kind of trying not to come into sight. And she's freaked out. She is freaked out. There's this man. He's out in the parking lot. Why is he here? She's the only one there. I get it. It's very concerning. So what does she do? Who does she call? Who does she call? Not the police. And she says how in order to get to her car, she would have had to go out the front door to get to her car in the parking lot. Or she would have had to go out the side door, but the man eventually would have seen her going to her car in the parking lot. So what she did is she called up her best friend. Yes, that's right. Not a police officer, just a random person. Because when you feel like you might be in horrible danger, you should definitely get your friends and family to join you instead of the people who are trained for it. So she calls up her best friend and she's like, and my best friend came to the side door and I jumped in and we sped off. Well, in situations like that, because I was thinking to myself, yeah, why would a man just be standing outside a door? And like, it's a really long time to be standing outside a door waiting. I think, well, if it was one of the guys that I know, like let's say it's my husband, what would cause my husband to remain outside of a building for an extended period of time, waiting for someone to come out or for someone to notice him? And the answer is, well, he might have left his keys inside. When he was asking her questions, he might have left his cell phone inside. That could be a reasonable answer. That could be an answer why a man would be outside waiting. Don't call your best friend. You call the police and you say, hey, I don't know why this guy is outside. He's been outside for like 40 minutes. I'm here by myself. Could you please just have an officer just ring around and ask him what's going on? Okay, so she doesn't do that. I never find out why the man was there. It could have been awful. He could have been an axe murderer. If he is, he's not a very good one. Who waits outside the door where the glass doors where she can see you? That would be stupid. But we'll never know because she, as she did and as she advised other people to do, she called her best friend and jumped in her best friend's car and ran off. She could have just, that would have been a great opportunity to call the police and have them do a check-in and walk her to her car. And if the man was like some horrible axe murdering pervert or something like that, then that's great. They probably already know about him. And if they don't, it's good to start a record. Anyway, I'm really going off topic. This is why I don't edit very quickly, because I go off on these tangents. What am I doing? All right, anyway, let's go to the exercises. Exercises for today, very basic. I'm doing bicep curl, overhead tricep extension, and shoulder fly. And then I'm just gonna be getting on the treadmill and walking. I'm gonna be doing 4 rounds, keeping it simple. So thanks everyone for joining me. It's awesome to be here with you. And I'll see you after the workout. Anyway, the point of that tangent was doing continuing education and it's boring and it makes me want to eat more. So then I went out and I did errands. I don't remember anymore. I'm sorry. But I feel like it was a halfway decent story. People are so weird. And ethics is so necessary and boring. Talk about necessary evils. There's necessary borings. A lot of necessary borings. It's fine. So I'm doing bicep curls with 12.5-pound weights. I still feel really good about them and they're still challenging, but I'm starting to wonder how it is that you actually increase your weight. Like, is that where the whole 1 rep max comes in? Or, I don't know. I think I feel like I have to look into actual building strength. I would really like to be able to do these with like 20-pound weights. All right, so that is the first part of the workout. I'm gonna hop on the treadmill now. I decided to put on the 8-pound weight vest. It's a walking pad and it doesn't have an incline, so if I want to push it, I make my own resistance. And sorry for the totally random tangent about having to take ethics. It's just one of the things that I really like about working for myself is that I don't have to go through useless meetings, right? It's fine. It could be a lot worse, but as I've said several times already, it's really boring. Ooh. Oh. I kind of gave up drinking. I was just realizing probably drinking and doing these classes would be, well, it would make it more doable, but probably be less ethical. All right, I'm gonna get on the treadmill, but I've done about 50 minutes Whew, a little over 2.5 miles and a little over 300 calories. So that feels really good. I would love to get up in the morning and walk a few miles, but yeah, that doesn't seem to be happening, and I've even been getting plenty of sleep. So thanks everyone for joining me tonight. It's awesome to be here with you, and if you're enjoying the series, you want to like and subscribe, you know how to do that. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 169. Night, guys.